David, thank you. The battle over the state's next biennial budget arrives in northeast Wisconsin today as local Democrats holding listening sessions in both Appleton and Alloway. Meanwhile, Republicans say the budget process could stall without the governor committing to significant tax cuts. Chief political reporter Jason Zimmerman breaks it all down. He's live in our studio with a First Alert update. Jason.
Bill, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have very different thoughts when it comes to spending priorities for the next 2 years. Today, local residents spoke out as well.
Hoping for direct feedback on the upcoming state budget, Democratic lawmakers held a public listening session Monday at the Appleton Public Library with a crowd of about 75 people on hand.
Please lift up that legislation and to support that.
Some of the top concerns include child care and public education, with the governor pledging more than $3 billion of additional funding to help schools across Wisconsin. It's a big reason Carol Lenz wanted to have her voice heard.
I'm here because for a long time our public education has been underfunded. So we're here to talk about that and to see if we can encourage moving towards Governor Evers' request for public education.
Others, like Appleton alderperson Brad Firkus, wanted to share concerns over a lack of shared revenue and the impact it's had on local municipalities.
I think we need either a little bit of more flexibility, more tools in our toolbox than we have right now, or if we can't get that, then it's probably more shared revenue. We're still receiving less in actual dollar amounts than we were in 2004.
All of this as lawmakers debate what to do with the state's budget surplus, which is now more than $4.5 billion. Republicans say any budget they approve must include tax cuts.
So last session, we tried to return nearly $3 billion of that back to the people. Governor Evers vetoed all of that. So we're going to come back with a slimmed down version, maybe in the $1 to $1.5 billion range. Something to get some real tax relief.
We can't just take that budget surplus and just give it out and say that that's going to solve everything. We need to keep a little surplus for that rainy day, obviously, and for the unexpected.
Republicans are also holding listening sessions concerning the state budget here in northeast Wisconsin. We place the time and dates on our website, WBAY.com. Bill, back to you.